After years of IVF and infertility treatments, my cycle just isn't consistent sometimes. The hormones, the countless procedures I've had, it's changed everything. And in the months where we've taken a break from treatment, I sometimes don't even know when I'm ovulating or when to expect my period. It's one more frustrating thing on top of an already really hard journey. Temp Drop has helped me feel like I can actually understand what my body is doing again. It takes thousands of temperature readings overnight, so even when my cycle is unpredictable, the data holds up. And I can log everything in the app, how I'm feeling, ovulation strip results, physical symptoms. So when I go to my doctor, I can share this high-level cycle data to help inform treatment plans. 5 years into this journey, and anything that takes a little stress off my plate matters more than I can say. If you're looking to get more accurate cycle insights, even if you have an irregular cycle, consider Temp Drop. Use our code AFFriedEggs for 10% off and a 2-month trial of their app.
That commercial. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? I think they still use it.
Verizon? They probably do.
I think they still use it. Yeah. You know what's funny is we have amnesia, right? When we don't record for like a little while, like even like a week or two.
Yeah.
But like this has been like years. I switched the headphones and the microphone input. And I was like, I don't understand. It's right, you know? Like, why can't Kayti hear me? Like trying to hear you through the mic, which is not correct.
Well, then that would be the reason why you couldn't hear me.
My God, hi.
I feel like, okay, so for listeners, it feels like we haven't seen each other in forever or talked in forever. It's been like maybe 3 weeks, 2.5, something like that.
It's been like 2.5 weeks, but it does feel like forever. And you and I have barely talked in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's true. I was
trying to have vacations you were trying to have a vacation. I was trying to let you have a vacation. So I had to sit on my hands to be like,
you were great at it.
I even would find, you're like my ride or die, not just with the podcast, but like in social. Like I send you a lot of stuff. We send each other a lot of stuff. And I was like, don't send it to her. Don't send it to her. Don't send it to her. And then by the end of the week or like the last 2 weeks, I just started sending them. I was like, I can't.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah. I'm sort of using them like a folder, of like saved items instead of like, you don't have to respond now, but like one day we're going to want to come back to this.
Well, and Amy has sent me probably 25 plus reels that I need to look through. And then I just the other day sent her one because, I sent it to you because it reminded me of myself, but I knew you would also resonate with it. And then she was like, wow, way to call me out so hard. It's basically,
do not you dare.
It's a person like staring out their blinds, drinking like wine or something. And what does it say? It says like,
it's like waiting till the last minute. Yeah, procrastinating to the last minute so that I can rush. And I was like, how dare you?
It's so true. And
how dare you?
It's very, very relatable. So anyway.
How was your vacation? You were offline.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying not to get a hold of you.
No, it was good. It was exhausting. I think I don't like complaining about vacation. So I'm actually going to not call it a vacation because even though I was like off work and like we were taking time away from the podcast, it was really like family trip sort of travel. And so we just did a lot. We went and saw my family, and then we went up to Boise and saw Anthony's mom and stepdad, and we were there for about a week. It was like 100+ degrees in Boise the whole time we were there.
Wow.
And then we headed over to Montana for my grandmother passed away last fall, but she's from Montana. And so we waited until the summer when all the family could get together to do her service in Montana, spread her ashes. And it was also 100+ degrees in Montana. And I don't know why I never thought about this for the US because we've traveled extensively to both South America and Scandinavia where like the sun doesn't set or does
Right.
set super early. So I'm familiar with it there. I guess I just like never really thought about northern southern hemisphere in the United States because I've always like lived on a middle line or close to the
Yeah.
equator.
That's
And
such a good point.
so I didn't think about the fact that like when we were in Yellowstone, I was like, why is it still light at like 10:30 at night? And I was like, oh my gosh, we're so high, like we're so far up north, but it just made for a very exhausting trip because it was often that we were not having dinner until like we would be getting back to the Airbnb at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, feeding Lumi, like whatever we could find, putting her to sleep, and then getting up the next morning early because it was like, okay, we have another family thing today. So that combined with the heat, combined with driving, combined with, just the logistics of seeing a lot of family and working some of the time. And we were very happy to see our bed when we got home. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But no, it was nice. It was nice to just like get out of LA for a bit. And we closed on our house in June, but we haven't moved in yet. And so we had a couple of projects being done there. So it was kind of nice to have that stuff taken care of while we were away because we're moving this weekend. Finally. Feels
This
like a
weekend?
long time coming. Yeah.
Yay! Are you
The moving truck comes on Saturday. So,
Oh, yay.
yeah. Hmm.
Are you packing up boxes or are they helping you pack?
So, one of the things that's been nice because the house is only about 3 miles from our current rental is we've been able to make like a lot of trips. So, just anytime we go over to the house, I've been bringing plants or I just like take a bunch of clothes from my closet and bring them over. So, we're trying to minimize the need to like newspaper wrap and pack
Yeah.
things.
Good.
And more so just when the movers come, it'll be like the heavy furniture and heavier boxes. So we already have a lot of stuff over at the new place, but we'll be in a mad rush on Saturday to get everything done. You know how it
That's
goes.
so fun though.
Yeah.
It's going to feel really good to be
It will.
there. Yeah. And you'll get fully into nesting mode, which is both amazing and
Chaos
fun and chaotic and stressful. So,
well, if you remember from last time, because we did the podcast while I was moving last time, and I think we talked about this even of how like I have a bad habit of using nesting as a like therapy. Like I'll avoid my feelings and emotions and just channel everything into thrifting and decorating. And I'm like, yeah, like all of my problems will be solved if I paint this bedroom. Like I just need to paint this room and then my life will be great again. Right.
Oh my God,
Instead of
Katie, it's so funny. I was having this moment yesterday where I was dealing with a very similar reaction to something, but I was literally like, okay, this is my new segment. Is it ADHD or am I just in the luteal phase?
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. And then I went on this
100%.
whole rant. And I feel like we should just do that because every time this thing comes up, I'm like, is it ADHD? Am I in the luteal phase? Am I perimenopausal? What is this? Is it normal?
I need to do that there was a reel that I sent Anthony the other day. I don't think he's watched it yet. Let me see what it said.
Classic
It said,
Anthony. You have to force him to do it.
I know. Well, yeah, at night, I'm like, did you watch the reels? Like,
Our funnies.
Our funnies. Except
our funnies.
Mine aren't funnies anymore. They're all like really sentimental, like baby content ones or like dads raising daughters ones that like make us cry. And we're like, okay. No, I sent him one and it was what does it say? It says, let me turn the volume down. My love language is acts of service, but my trauma response is doing everything myself so no one can let me down or hold it over my head. And it's just like a woman like doing all of these tasks. And I was like,
my God.
This is my version of that. Like, is it just that I went through infertility and IVF, or is it that I'm actually a control freak and like need to do everything myself because I don't trust anyone and have trust issues?
Okay. I can't wait to see your version of that.
My version.
Shortly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot to work through there. We need a therapist to come on and
we really
do a working session with both of us. Yeah.
Live therapy.
You posted that story to the fried eggs account and you were like, it's 75 in Long Beach.
I know.
I was like,
after I
Kayti,
post,
shut up. It's
okay.
98 degrees here.
So no one
so
responded. Not as soon as I posted it, but like an hour or so later, I was thinking back on it because I said it was 85 degrees because that's what my car temperature read.
Okay.
I think my car temperature was wrong, but also like we're having this weird, like all across Southern California, it's also like humid or something is going on because the temperature does not reflect how it actually feels. And I was thinking about that. I was like, I should have been more clear because people are probably like 85. That's like
you're like
perfect
great.
Weather.
Amazing.
I'm like,
vacation
no,
weather.
Like it's like 110 degrees. Like I don't know why it feels so just like sticky and hot and miserable. But you are also not close to the water, so I'm sure it feels even worse.
I'm not close to the water. And I have to say, I really love where I live a lot of the time. There's a solid 3-ish months where I'm like, I hate it here. Yeah. I hate it here. It's so hot. It's like 95. It was 101 yesterday. It's absurd. And you're right, it's humid because I think it's all over. I'm hearing it everywhere. The super El Nino. So that's going to bring a lot of rain and humidity, but it's going to be hot, like warm weather, like humidity.
Like tropical?
So, yeah, tropical. It's also apparently, I'm seeing this all over the LA Times and our local news channels. It's also why we're seeing a lot more sharks in the water, great whites.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, they breed. California. Yeah, right off of our coast. They breed like out by Catalina, I think, if I'm getting it right. And the Channel Islands out there, but they come down here. And so we have like a ton of great whites and they're seeing more and more of them. But then, of course, you never know. Like the sort of environmentalists are also saying like, they're here every year. You just don't pay attention, but like the news is like, yeah, the El Nino is bringing in more great whites to our shores. So the drone footage is terrifying, though, because like there's surfers and kids in the water, and then you just see this massive great white like underneath them. And apparently they're there all the time, and they respect us, and we have no issues except for like very rarely. But it's really scary. I don't know. Makes me not want to go in the water.
I don't actually know this about you, because you grew up near the water. Do you have a fear of sharks and the water? Or did you like grow up swimming in the ocean, like not thinking about it?
I mean, we grew up in the generation of Jaws. So I definitely have some like deep-seated fear that will happen.
Okay.
The great ocean is scary to me less because of sharks and more because it's like an abyss. There's no bottom to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like even really deep lakes scare me like that too. But I grew up going to the beach and I would go swim. We would go into the waves and like swim in the waves. And I must have been like a good enough swimmer because now I go out there and I'm like nervous to swim in the waves like that. Like I usually stay closer to the shore. But like when we were younger, high school especially, we would spend like most every summer day out at the beach. And even like, you have such good weather down here. I'm going to make other non-Californians annoyed by that. But like we'd be at the beach in like January.
Yeah.
And the water's always kind of cold. So it's not like the summer the water suddenly gets warm like the East Coast or like the Caribbean. It's just always kind of like 65 degrees, or 60 degrees. So it's always cold. Yeah.
Except I did hear, I have a friend who's visiting from Colorado right now, and they were staying in Seal Beach. And she said they come like once a year and stay like near the coast and surf and everything. And she said this is the first time that they've been to the coast and the water's actually been warm. She was saying in Seal Beach, it's like warm water right now.
Yeah, so that's the problem. I mean, this is not a environmental podcast, but like that's the problem with this super El Nino situation.
Yeah.
It's like also sad. We're rapidly warming the oceans, which is also sad. They've actually had like so many whale deaths and like other sea creatures and mammals are really struggling because we're warming the oceans. Okay, that's my depressing thought of the day. And we should reduce climate change as fast as possible and stop burning fossil fuels. Okay, stop building data centers. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. So
goodbye.
that's the other
Moving on.
thing. So because I was on vacation and was like pretty much offline the whole time that I was gone,
Good.
yeah, it was really great. Well, because we took a break from the podcast or like publishing podcast episodes. And so
Mhm.
we took a break from social as well. And so I didn't have to be on Instagram. So I don't feel like I know anything that's going on in the world right now because of that. Like, is usually where I get my news source in terms of like where I find out something's going on and then go read about it or like further
Yeah.
investigate.
Yeah.
So I've been in this like bubble and which is always nice to get the break, but then you're also inundated with all of the news, which is usually bad news because I feel
It's a
like
lot of
that's
bad news.
all that's reported on and also just a lot in the world right now. But yeah, so I rely on you to keep me updated. And so when we were talking about notes for today's podcast, because we don't really have like a specific topic today. We're just kind of like checking
Catch up.
in. It's a catch up, but also there is a lot happening in health and like women's health care and
Mm-hmm.
health in general. We can't eat lettuce anymore. And
Right.
Amy has been sending me notes about what's going on with IVF. I saw something about the Pope like asking Trump to not like support IVF or something or the
I
Catholic
missed that.
Church or you missed that? Okay. Well, I don't even
That's
know
not
if I'm saying
surprising. The Catholic Church?
I almost commented on the reel and just like commented boo because I was like driving and I was like, this is such bullshit. And also I have no energy to put like real thought into a comment. And then I just was like, this is why I'm off social media because I hate stuff
Yes.
like this. But
IVF views IVF as immoral.
right.
Separates procreation from the marital act, treats human life as a commodity rather than a gift, and typically results in the destruction, freezing, or experimentation of human embryos. Yeah, we have a lot to contend with there.
I mean, my one thought, or I guess the one thing that I will just say is I feel like the Catholic Church, just like the evangelical church, does not have a lot of ground to stand on when talking about morality and procreate. Like, let's just
Procreation or
say
the preciousness of life, of
there are a lot
children.
of things that they could focus on fixing and actually advocating for or against
Mhm.
than people who are experiencing infertility. So anyway, it was not a surprising
Yeah.
announcement, but it was also like okay, really like we're doing this again in 2026. Like another
Mhm.
man, religious man telling
Yeah.
me what is
Yeah,
moral and
what's
what is not.
also really funny about that too is like I think I sent this to you. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna say it
Yeah.
because
Do it. Say
why
it.
not? So, like, Mary, mother of Jesus,
Oh, yes. You were like,
Mary,
what? Jesus was
Mary,
IVF.
Jesus
Isn't that
was
what you said?
basically IVF, and
Or
Mary is a
surrogacy. You were
surrogate.
like, yes, yes.
Mary is a surrogate. Jesus is the son of Christ, or uh, in the teachings, the son of Christ. But like, Mary is just a vessel. She's like made holy because of this experience, right? But like, she's basically a surrogate. She conceived out of wedlock.
She
She
is the
conceived
OG
out of
surrogate.
marital love. She's the OG surrogate. So then the joke I made to Katie was basically like, so like, is my baby is basically just like as holy, right? Because, because
Mm-hmm.
they're the same. So
Somebody needs to make a shirt that is like, if you disagree with surrogacy, take it up with Mary. Like,
take it up
because
with Christ
take
our
it up with
Lord,
God Himself.
God Himself. Add the Holy Spirit in there. We got the whole
We've
shebang.
got the whole thing.
But it's so true. Like, it's so, we just have so much to contend with when it comes to IVF, IUI, reproductive health care, surrogacy, egg donation, sperm donation. And wish that we could actually take like the blinders off of these arguments that are like so black and white, like this is against the Bible or not, and like actually get to the root of what people's concerns are. Because ultimately, like, it's pretty obvious that the GOP's stance, like, I'm talking about like what happened, the Texas Republican Party, GOP, adopted a whole platform priority around opposing IVF and surrogacy as well. And like, it's very clear that all of these like microaggressions, which aren't that micro, they're like major aggressions, are are designed with the intention of creating more like nuclear, traditional, if you will, heterosexual white families. It all boils down to that. Like if we're taking away people's access to reproductive health care, and if we stop thinking of infertility as a medical issue that people are dealing with, then you don't have to support people who have like medical issues. You don't have to support people who, like we're basically we're reducing the population that you can actually support. I don't know. Does that resonate?
It does resonate. And I think for me, it also just comes back to, I get really frustrated, specifically with social media, but just like anything online, with these soundbite pieces that come out in support of banning IVF or just creating more noise in this conversation, especially when it's coming from people who don't have any experience with it or don't even really know what they're talking about, and are just regurgitating content because they think that it aligns with their political or ethical beliefs or religious beliefs. And it's like, you don't actually, and this is my biggest frustration with the argument about, well, IVF is unethical because you are creating all of these embryos and then you're just going to throw them away, right? Because you and I have talked about this. That is not, sure, is that like happening somewhere sometimes? Like, yes, there are, like, we would be lying if we said there are not people out, or naive, right? If we were not acknowledging the fact that there are people who do IVF for the very reason of wanting to do gender selection or wanting to, there are going to be people that are going to use this to their advantage. That is not our experience. That is not our experience with the community and the hundreds and thousands of people that we connect with through the podcast and in our own lives that are needing IVF for infertility diagnosis, because they have endometriosis, because they have Asherman's, because they have recurrent loss. Like, none of us are over here just hoarding embryos. Like, we are all just so concerned about having even one embryo in order to like one embryo that is going to successfully result in a birth, right? And so I think that's where I get frustrated, is it is just like an uneducated opinion to be spewing out that kind of information of like, well, IVF is just, you're creating all of these children that are just like going to be killed. Insane. And it's like, you don't know anything about it. And you don't know anything about the fact that like a lot of those embryos, even if they were created through like quote unquote, like sex between a man and a wife who loved Jesus, would also just not implant because they're not genetically normal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you can't just like say like, oh, I'm killing a child because the sperm and the egg met in the womb or in a petri dish that we're never going to be able to be compatible with human life regardless.
Yeah. Every time I talk about my embryos, I very deliberately explain that at the point that they're frozen, they are about 120 to 150 cells. Cells.
Yeah. Cells. Yes.
Cells. There are cells. And actually more than half of them, they are potential. Sure. Biologically, are they alive? Sure. Yes. The cells are alive.
It is a cell. Yeah.
just like an amoeba is alive.
Mm-hmm.
It's this, you're right. It's the uneducated view that's really frustrating here. And because you also know none of those people are dealing with
Needed IVF.
infertility.
Right.
Or nobody in their lives feels safe enough to tell them that they needed support with infertility. And then it's the uneducated piece here, which is also baffling to me because if the platform is, if the goal of the platform and all of these changes is to have this, honor the sanctity of life and to create more babies in the world. I mean, side note, we know that the party doesn't care about children once they're in the world, or mothers once they're in the world, or mothers having babies. We have the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country. We are basically like what they used to call third world countries in terms of our maternal mortality rate. It's absurd, how much we do not care for mothers and for babies. And then once the kids are actually in the universe here on, walking alongside us, living alongside us, we don't have programs for them. We've cut SNAP benefits. They just cut massive amounts of funding for fruits and vegetables for pregnant women who need economic assistance. They're cutting programs left and right. And they just cut teen pregnancy programs, teen pregnancy prevention programs. Something like, what was it? Some massive amount of money. I think it was over 70% of the funding was just cut and has been reallocated to abstinence-only programs or programs that promote
back to the 90s.
Yeah, programs that promote abstinence and marriage and procreation through marriage. And it's guys, we know this doesn't work. And who does it hurt the most? It's very interesting to me. Who does it hurt the most? Actually, low income, low education areas of the country who end up needing more public benefit programs that you are also cutting. So you're going to force all these babies into the world with teen mothers who don't have support while you simultaneously cut Medicare plans, Medicaid, you cut SNAP benefits, you're cutting healthy food programs. There's no support for these people. There's no support for education for these people. It's just the dissonance is so loud. And I really wish we could get underneath it a little bit more and understand what is behind these people who support these kinds of decision making, this kind of policy making.
So this is from NPR. So 2 weeks ago, the organization that Amy is talking about,
HHS.
2 million annual grants were canceled.
Health and Human Services.
Yes, the Department of Health and Human Services, Federal Department of Health and Human Services. I'm sorry, that is who canceled all but a dozen teen pregnancy prevention program grants totaling $66 million for grantees across the country. Grantees include a wide range of organizations, from public health departments and universities to Planned Parenthood and Bethany Christian Services affiliates. The 5-year grant had 2 years left to go, and they cut it effective immediately. And according to a list of termination obtained by NPR, the given reason was misalignment with agency priority, specifically normalizing sexual activity for minors. Who is I mean, I know what the answer is, but who is running things? Because I have so much to say about this as somebody who grew up in 90s purity culture and abstinence with abstinence only education. The fact that there are still people out there that thinks that works and that kids aren't going to have sex because you're going to just tell them sorry, I'm not going to tell you how it works. I'm not going to tell you how to have safe sex, and you're just not going to have sex.
It's just immoral.
Just don't do it.
You are bad if you do it. But really, Katie, that's all the guys. It's all the guys. It's
no, women don't want. Yeah.
It's part of the plan. Okay. It's it's a conspiracy, but it's not a conspiracy theory because it's actually real. The birth rate has declined in the U.S. largely because we have we have reduced the teen birth rate.
So you're saying they are smart enough to know. So there is an ulterior motive here. They don't want
more
it to work.
babies. We have a declining birth rate in the
Okay,
US.
okay. I see where
We
you're
have a
going.
declining birth rate, which means we have a declining working population.
You think that they're smart enough to think that through, though? Like,
no,
I feel like
I
that's
don't
giving them a lot of credit to be like, ooh, let's like
yes,
do this.
absolutely they are smart enough. I think absolutely the people behind Project 2025, this is all written out in Project 2025. How do you increase the birth rate? How do you dismantle third-party reproduction, IVF? How do you like infuse all of these like hyper evangelical Christian practices and policies into public policy? This is like right out of
How do you get women back into just the
homes.
home?
You
You
give
get them
them more
pregnant
babies.
early and you don't give
How
them
do
a
you
chance
make
to
it
get an
so
education.
hard? How do you make it so hard for women to continue to climb this like economic stability ladder that, we are now like over 50% of the population. We are greater than 50%, something closer to like 60% of the college graduates. We're still not holding off senior offices at the same rate. Like we're still wildly under that, and we're still wildly underpaid, especially when you look at like when you add race into the factor. When you factor it in. But women in general are underpaid as compared to their male counterparts. But if the goal is to push women out of the workforce as well as out of positions of power and their own economic stability and their ability to carry on lives without needing a male partner, then there's a lot of ways to do that. One way would be to shackle women with a bunch of unwanted children at a very young age before they're made up their own mind about their lives, force them into marriages early because that's what like morality tells us to do. Take away women's rights to birth control and access to their bodies, removing sex education for teens and teen pregnancy prevention programs means we are also not teaching women about their bodies. As well, which we all grew up with. None of us knew anything about our bodies. And so like I do believe it's all guys. It's all a part of a broader program. And it's really scary. And it's actually happening right under our noses, or not even under them. It's like in front of our noses. It's like very blatant.
And I think it's particularly scary because I want to say two things. The first I want to say is I want to acknowledge the fact also that like even though you and I clearly have like a very strong opinion on this and like we're both mid to late 30s and had the chance to go to college and to have children, or attempt to have children later in life. There's nothing wrong with like if you do want to be abstinent or you do like if that's like your choice, like if you want to get married really young or not even get married but just have children really young, we're not saying that there is something inherently wrong with that. And I say that because I saw an Instagram reel today that was like, it was a woman in a nursing chair holding her baby. And the text was like, and this is what they're trying to tell you is oppressive or something about like stay-at-home moms. And somebody did a stitch with it. And she was like, we're not saying that's oppressive. We're saying it's a luxury. And the fact that like you are able to stay home and raise this baby and have like the systems in place to support you and to support your family, like that is what is needed. And that is what is lacking, right, for a lot of women. So it's not necessarily that we're saying that women shouldn't have babies really young, or if they want to skip college or they want to go to college and then become a stay-at-home mom, like there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when women are not given options and resources and lack education because the government has stepped in and said, like, we don't want you to know about safe sex. So then you go and have sex and then you have an unwanted pregnancy. but there are no options for you. So you're forced into having this child, and then you're forced to stay home because you don't have the education. Like none of this was provided for you. And then there is nothing to support you as a mom or to support your children, right? So it's like, we're not talking about the people who choose that lifestyle. We're talking about the people that lifestyle is forced upon them because the government has stepped in and there are no other options for them. And that leads to my other point, which I was going to say, what's really scary about all of this is I think that you and I and our friends and our communities and those of us who are on coasts or live in these like really liberal states or liberal cities, we're not going to see necessarily the ripple effect of this as immediately as some of the people who live in these really red or really
oppressive states.
Well, I was going to say rural,
conservative and rural.
Rural. These really rural areas where like they're going to be the ones that it's going to immediately impact. And so that makes it even scarier because for us, it's just like, oh, this is just a news story. And like, it's really sad and it's really scary, but also like, I'm not going to be impacted by that. Like, it's never, that's kind of like the thought.
HHS is national funding. So yes, you are right. Like in a more blue or liberal state, our state will probably pick up the bag anyway. Right?
Yes.
Especially in California. We have like the third largest economy or 10th largest, what is it? Like 10th largest economy in the world? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But two things that I have to say, because I can't not.
Say them.
Everything you just described about being your choice is feminism. That 100%. Is what feminism is. You have knowledge, awareness, education, and choice to decide what is best for you and your one precious life and your one precious body. That's feminism. So you can have it all. You can have whatever you want if this is up to you and your decision and you have the right education and awareness to choose it. Now, the second thing I would say is we should all as a society probably generally agree teen pregnancy is not a good thing. These are young women, they're children, they're teenagers. Teen pregnancy is not a good thing in general. If it happens, like I'm not demonizing anyone, that's not what I'm saying, but we should not be like trying to
advocating for it.
Advocate for it or increase it. Like it does substantially impact women, especially women of color and underserved communities more than it will anybody else. And like that, like we shouldn't want that for our youth. Before a child is like fully prepared and ready to be a parent. Like, sure, I'm not arguing I'm not going to argue the morality or any of that. That's not my place at all. But like kids should be kids and we should be providing the education and scaffolding to support them instead of just ripping apart this stuff. And like, frankly, hoping that we have more babies in this country because like the liberal women in general are not having babies fast enough.
Which is also
bullshit.
Ridiculous. Well, one thing I did want to say really quick is that an interesting aspect of this conversation and how things will progress. I am curious because like when you and I grew up with abstinence only education, when that was like a big thing in the 90s, we didn't have social media. So it will be interesting to see how this actually, how any of that really lands with the younger generations because they all have phones. So even if you want to give them a certain opinion or like you want to try to isolate them to specific information, they can find differing opinions just on social media. And so like they can get sex education just from being on TikTok. And so that is like an interesting element to it where it's like, how much can you actually control what you're teaching them? Because like, are kids even learning about sex in the classroom anymore? Or is it just something that they learn online?
That's a great point. And then also you add on the fact that attendance at churches is largely down too. So they're not really getting it there either. And like,
Yeah.
we know that like parents in general, at least our generation, did not talk about this stuff with us. But
Right. And
parents,
everyone, yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe millennial parents are different. Gen Z parents are not Gen Z parents. They're not parents yet. Well, maybe they are. Gen X.
No,
Gen
they
X
are.
parents.
They're like mid-20s to like late
Oh
20s. I
my
think they'll,
God. I'm so
is it
old.
20? Is it 29? Is like it's like mid to late 20s that Gen Z is now, which is wild.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear about the endometriosis swab test?
I saw a bite about it on social media, but I have not
Yeah.
done any like
Yeah.
research on
This one
it
was
or listened. So inform
interesting.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one is interesting. There's apparently now a swab test that's coming out. I think it's available in some parts of Europe now, where they can, with a swab, they can analyze biomarkers found in saliva or other biological samples to identify endometriosis present in the body. Obviously, they can't tell you
Okay.
where it is because it's a swab test, which is very exciting. Okay, the whole thing is very exciting because the only way to do it now is to either
Get a
it's very
laparoscopic
obvious on an
surgery.
MRI or to get to go have an actual surgery, laparoscopy. And like you can kind of infer that maybe you have it from like a physical exam, but they don't know for sure. So that's very exciting. But what I found was interesting is the commentary all around it, especially on social, as you know, the different doctors and whatnot we follow and public health professionals like do reels and stuff on it. And then the commentary, there was like a really interesting angle, which I thought was very spicy and interesting,
Mm,
which was, are we finally getting this now because a private company is now going to sell this test and they
hmm
can make money off of it? And I was
100%.
like, "Oh my God, that is so like it's sad
Whose
to
take was
think."
that?
I mean, so many.
Okay.
So
I'll have
I
to
saw it
dive
over and
into it.
over
Yeah.
again. And they weren't arguing like this isn't an impactful advancement for
No.
women, but it was more like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, of course you're going to look at it now that it can make you money. It really just hardened for me that you have such great actors, people in medical spaces and science and all of this who want to make positive, lasting improvements in lives and humanity, but that really things get funded when they make money.
hmm
And I just think it's so interesting that that's the way it is. But when you have a medical system that is, you know, a capitalist system, that's how it
hmm
works. Not the fact that, like, you know, huge percentages of the female population suffer from endometriosis. Not that it takes 7 to 10 years on average to get a diagnosis. Not that it contributes to infertility. Not that it's actually now understood as a whole body disease, inflammatory disease, and it's more akin to cancer in that regard than it is to a gynecological disease. It's just, it was interesting. And so I kind of want to take the test though, because I want to, like, I
Yeah.
had it. Do I still have it? Probably. Um,
I want to take the test,
yeah, I think you should take the test.
right? That
Yeah,
would be
I think you
that
should.
would be wild
That
to
would be
be
wild.
like, "Oh, you have silent endo. Who would have
Mhm.
thought?"
But then the
Okay,
next question is really like, then what do you do with that data? You still
yeah.
ultimately,
You
you
s
still then need to, like, figure out are you having symptoms that require what symptoms are you having and what treatment is best for you, which, you know, hopefully it gets people to a diagnosis much faster.
Right.
Therefore they can, like, actually consider treatment. And then the other thing that came up about it was that all these women who had been silenced for years and years and years, or like disenfranchised from you know getting health care and weren't being taken seriously, and their symptoms weren't being taken seriously. A bunch of those comments that I saw were like they were going to march into their doctor's office with this with this
Yeah,
evidence
I
and be like,
would.
shove it.
Yeah, and also, like, march into my insurance office and be like, "Can I get payment for all of the things that I've had to pay for out of pocket because you guys
Hmm.
didn't wanna help me get this diagnosed?" And,
Hmm. Hmm.
um okay, well, I feel like we're on I feel like I'm a news anchor. I feel like it's just like, and then next we have a
And
breaking
then,
story.
well, I do feel
No,
like these would be like a fun episode to do where we'd try to do a rapid fire of the headlines.
I think it's great. I think it's important to be informed about what is going on outside, like in like big IVF world and big women's healthcare world outside of just like your own little bubble of treatment and what's going on at your clinic. But the other big group, the other 50% population that has been ignored for a very long time, that is finally getting recognition, but not for the right reasons, because of our good friend Pete with HRT.
Yeah.
I called my
Wait, I'm
mom
sorry. You're saying
immediately.
they haven't been given the.
No, what I'm saying is like, I feel like it's now all of the menopausal women are coming out and being like, hello,
Hi.
like what the,
Hi.
like, yeah, hi, we've been like asking for this for, I called my mom immediately and I was like, did you see the news about how all the men in the military get access to testosterone now for free? Or well, I don't know if it's for free, but I think it is. But
They will
how it's
all
just
get
being
access.
promoted.
They'll all
Yeah.
get access to testing. And I don't even think it's access. I think it's mandatory testosterone level testing. And then,
Wasn't it like to be, quote, like your strongest self or
oh,
something
sure.
ridiculous?
Yeah. Yeah, I think something like that. But then the other funny thing about this was then, and quote, they will have the quote option for
Uh-huh.
treatment. And the the comments on that were I was dying because everyone was like, "Oh, so you believe in choice? Oh, they have a choice for treatment? Oh,
They
so you
have
believe
they
in choice on something that will happen to their bodies? Oh, interesting."
honestly, they probably don't have. I mean, they probably, if they don't pass the test and take the testosterone, they probably they'll be like kicked out or something.
They'll
I'm
probably
sure
like
there'll be
lose their
some.
job, be moved to a desk job or something. Yeah, I thought that was wild. And like a lot of the doctors that we follow and public health professionals too were like, "Hi, hello, you guys want more babies? Um, androgenous testosterone
Hmm.
increases infertility and reduces sperm
Hmm.
production. And in our male youth, that sounds like a great idea. So basically, like you're providing. It would be funny if they tried rebranding that, like someone. I'm surprised someone hasn't done it yet. So like basically, you're giving all the men in the military free birth control. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing is just, it's just a
Crazy.
circus. I mean, it truly. Yeah, when I called my mom, I was like, how angry does this make you? Like how do you, because she has been struggling with her insurance and her doctors to get on HRT, to like break the stigma, to help, like there are so many women, and I told her, I was like, I'm hoping, like I hate that you have to go through this, but the same way that I feel like Amy and I are part of the generation that got the short end of the stick with fertility care, but like for younger generations, like things have really just advanced so rapidly, even with things like endo diagnoses and, OBs and GYNs now taking
Mm,
um, just fertility care in general more seriously, right? Like we're rapidly progressing in that direction.
hmm.
And unfortunately, we were kind of part of the generation that suffered the
Hmm.
doctor's appointments where it's just like, just keep having sex, like you'll be fine.
Just keep
And
trying.
my mom is part of the generation where it's just like there's no care for menopausal women. Like not even, there's no research, there's no funding, and I do hope and think that her generation is kind of leading the way so that like when by the time you and I are going through menopause, or at least by the time like our daughters are going through menopause, that it will be a drastically different landscape. But
Yeah.
just to see news stories breaking like this, where it's just like, if you're a man and you're in the military, here's like
And
this
you're a young
thing.
man. It's like also for young men, I think it's for all men, but like also for young men.
It's just comical. So
Yeah, the whole double standard is the thing that really, really gets me a lot. And then I just think it's laughable that we're going to be supplementing all these young men who probably don't need it, and then like maybe impacting their fertility in the long run and like shooting ourselves in the foot further. So
But it's
make it
okay
make
because
sense.
because the young girls are gonna have babies now, so it's fine. Like fertility doesn't matter. We're just gonna have all
Yeah.
of the teenagers having children.
I can't. I can't.
Welcome to Gilead.
Guys, did you know that it's an election year? So all of this is actually very important.
Oh, geez, don't remind us. I mean, do remind us.
Do
but
remind us. It's
Yeah,
soon.
no, I know.
Some states are going into primaries, you know.
I know.
So.
I know. It's wild. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was fun and spicy.
This was a fun catch up. So we're kind of back to regular programming. We have a couple of episodes coming out or interviews coming out. We just had Sam Diamond from Bird and Bee, which was such a fun convo and like really leans into this actually, the whole thread of this conversation around like education around your body, understanding your body.
Yep.
So that was a fun one. We have a couple of other good ones. Dr. Natalie Crawford is upcoming. And then we're going to talk a little bit more too.
We need to unpack
some things.
What's going on.
You unpack your house and then we'll unpack.
Do you unpack after trips? Because I don't. Is that so bad? I'm as right a Virgo, after? I feel so embarrassed about the fact that like I feel like I present as like a type A person the majority of the time. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm making that up. But like I do not do my laundry or unpack. Like it will be weeks that I will just like live with the clothes in my closet and like not unpack my suitcase from traveling.
Did you recently tell me that, Amy, your type B is showing?
No, that wasn't me.
Are you sure? I thought it was you with regard to the last IVF round I did.
Maybe, yes, when you were doing your stims. And I was like, how are you so chill about this? Like, you're just like, oh, I forgot how to do this. Ha ha. Like, I have to do this shot in like a minute. And I'm like stressing for you. Yeah.
I don't know. But what you just said reminded me of that because I feel like I also present as like a type A person and then have these like this underlayer of like chaotic energy. I just think we're multifaceted and that's okay. But I am with you. I am not very good at one packing or two unpacking. And I get in trouble in my household because I just leave it around. Like we have a small house. And so Nima's like, can you please move this out of, can you please declutter our shared space, which is like a fair ask, I think. But
okay, we're going to talk about that next time because the shared space thing is so funny to me. And you have
the shared space thing.
Yeah, I love that story.
This bench is a shared space.
This is a shared domain.
Actually, this bench wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, and therefore it is mine. It is here for my purposes only. I allow you to use it, but it is mine.
But I can, well, it's like my no shoes in the house rule. Like I'm allowed to break that rule because it's my rule. But it's anyone else who breaks it is like, absolutely not. That's disrespectful. I've asked you a million times not to wear your shoes in the house.
And when we say
anyone else, need to do it.
And when we say anyone else, we're talking about our spouses. Okay. So that was fun. We have lots coming up. Okay. Stay tuned. Thanks for hanging with this chaotic energy and good luck on your move. Can't wait to see it.
Yes. All the updates soon. And I'll be not in bed next time we record. I'll be in an actual office space. It'll be so great.
Incredible. Okay. Well, I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.